Now, here are tonight's top stories. A Shasta County woman has died of the swine flu. It's the county's first H1N1 fatality. The woman was in her 60s and had multiple health problems. So far this year, 39 people have been hospitalized with the virus in Shasta County. Health officials are still asking people to stay home if you experience flu-like symptoms. Visit ShastaFluShots.com for more information on the virus and upcoming vaccination clinics.
Now, to help safeguard your children from the H1N1 swine flu, the Butte County Health Department is joining with schools to help parents get their children the vaccination. Free after-school clinics will be set up next week so parents can get their children between 2 and 18 a free vaccination. The best way to find out when your child's school will conduct its after-school vaccination clinic is to just go into the school's office and just ask. Or you can log on to your school district's website.
A mother and her young son are involved in a rollover crash today on Highway 99 near Chico. CHP officers say a Corning woman drifted off Highway 99 after she turned around to console her 4-year-old son who was in the back seat. The SUV drifted off the road, hit a dirt embankment, and flipped onto its roof. The woman and her son were taken to the hospital complaining of pain, but neither injury is believed to be life-threatening.
Tired of budget cuts and growing class sizes, a record number of families are turning to charter schools for their education answers.
But the charter school system poses problems for already struggling school districts. Action News reporter Owen Clark takes an in-depth look at the charter school option in an Action News special report.
It's the Friday before Halloween, which means a party for students at Forest Ranch Charter School. But for many in this small town, every day the school is open is a cause for celebration.
It was really important to this community that we had a school because this really is the heart of our community. There isn't a park here, there isn't a playground. This really is it for these children who live up here.
In April of 2008, Chico Unified announced that Forest Ranch School would be closed. Enrollment was down and the district was in the middle of a financial crisis. Rather than accept the closure and move their kids, a core group of parents led an amazing effort to turn Forest Ranch into a charter school.
We chartered in record time, almost an impossible feat, but we had a really strong community behind us and a really strong group of people.
The Forest Ranch success story epitomizes the idea behind the charter school movement, giving parents an alternative to the public education establishment.
I think it plays to a very important kind of American philosophy, which is we have choice. Parents should have a choice in where they send their children.
With school districts everywhere slashing budgets and cutting programs, the charter school choice suddenly looks pretty attractive. This fall saw the largest single-year gain in charter school enrollment ever in California. In Chico, 4 charter school applications have come before the board this year. At Chico Country Day School, the city's oldest charter, there are more than 100 families on the waiting list. Principal Paul Weber says parents come here for smaller classes, fewer cutbacks, and less bureaucracy.
The decisions that are made about the school, we decide them right here at our site with our school board and our parents and our staff. I think we're able to respond quicker because we're more of a nimble organization than a big district.
Though every charter has its own governing board that effectively runs the school, ultimately they have to answer to their authorizing agency, which in most cases is the local school district. And that power-sharing relationship can cause problems.
Charter schools being authorized by districts is fundamentally kind of a tense relationship. I compare it to a local department store, locally owned, having to ask Walmart for permission about how to operate.
And just like stores compete for customers, schools compete for students. Both district and charter schools are funded by the state based on their average daily attendance, or ADA.
The ADA generated by those students flows directly to the school, does not flow to the district. That sets up a kind of competition that is unfortunate.
Going forward, the key will be to find a balance, where competition encourages improvement, but doesn't cause anyone to lose sight of the larger goal of public education.
Ultimately, it's our responsibility as a society to make sure all students are getting the education that they need and deserve.
One school or one district can be everything to every child, so having those choices out there, I think, will help the entire educational organizations, charters, districts, all schools improve.
For Action News, I'm Owen Clark.
School officials in Forest Ranch School are in the process of trying to renew their charter for another 4 years. They tell us they are actively looking for new students from the Chico area.
Major changes could be coming to the Paradise Fire Department with a proposed transition plan that would save the city more than $100,000. Action News reporter Audrey Assistio explains how the plan could affect residents and their safety.
Paradise firefighters respond to multiple emergency calls every day. But due to the economic downturn, the fire department's facing even more trouble. It needs to come up with $100,000 in reductions to save the town money. That's where the transition plan comes into play.
The plan is very thorough. I took multiple different viewpoints. I considered many different options.
Fire officials say they have come up with a creative way to save the town money and still function efficiently. The plan is to staff these fire engines with 3 firefighters each. That means each engine would have 1 extra person on board, but only 2 engines would be used. They're currently using 3.
With 3 people, this allows them to take some immediate action for extinguishment that in some cases, in today's environment, they don't have that ability there.
But the plan also has its negatives.
The negative impact is relative to the multiple calls at one time.
The plan requires one of their stations to close down, meaning they'll only have 2 engines on the streets. This could mean longer response times. In addition, the plan cuts down on overtime and eliminates 2 division chief positions.
We need to come together, as we've done through this transition plan, and build a foundation that enables us to continue to provide a level of service to this community.
The proposed plan would save the town $107,000 over the next 2 years. In Paradise, I'm Audrey Assistio for Action News.
Fire Marshal Chris Jensen, who you saw there, and Paradise Town leaders will further discuss the transition plan at the Paradise Town Council meeting. That'll be Tuesday night.
The fate of a Walmart Supercenter in Chico will have to wait another week. Walmart will present its new proposal to the City Council next Tuesday, 1 week later than originally scheduled. The Council had originally set the hearing for tomorrow, but a scheduling conflict forced that meeting to be canceled. At next week's meeting, Walmart officials will detail their latest proposal for an 82,000 square foot expansion of their current store on Forest Avenue. Next week's meeting will be held at the City Council chambers at 6:30 p.m., and the public will be able to comment on any of the new benefits in Walmart's proposal.
The city of Anderson is looking for funding for a freeway project they say will help traffic and bring in big business. Action News reporter Elizabeth Gadley has more on how the city plans to get drivers off the roads and into its shops.
The city of Anderson is considering updating I-5 with a pair of roundabout interchanges. The city believes the upgrades could round up some new business.
To be able to draw a motorist off of Interstate 5 that could avail themselves of the convenience of being able to shop at the Anderson Marketplace.
The first of the 2 roundabouts would go in at Deschutes Road and Factory Outlets Drive. It would give drivers heading north a second chance to stop and shop.
We currently do not have a northbound off-ramp, and the problem that we have is that drivers must make the decision to exit the freeway at the crest of the hill prior to actually seeing Anderson's shopping area.
Before you can make money, you have to spend money, something that isn't easy with a slowing economy. Turning this dream into a reality will cost big bucks.
It's very competitive. It's very competitive even here locally. Throughout the state of California, as you could imagine, there's hundreds of applications.
Anderson's Public Works Director estimates it'll cost around $9 to $10 million to build the first roundabout. Right now, funding is the biggest roadblock, but city officials say if they can get the money together, they could have the first of the 2 roundabouts built in as little as 3 years. Beyond bringing in business, planning officials who've been working with Caltrans say the roundabouts could handle more traffic and potentially save lives. In Anderson, I'm Elizabeth Gadley, Action News.
There are no estimates for how much the second roundabout would cost. Officials say the plan is to put the second in about 10 years after they build the first roundabout.
Well, the swine flu is spreading quickly across the country, especially at colleges.
Plus, studies show even if you don't now, most women will end up looking like their mothers. We'll have all the latest health headlines next in tonight's Health Watch.
We have a day Wednesday. It's going to look a lot like today, but we're going to get some rain out of it. We'll talk about that when NBC 24 Action News returns.